All right, so today I'm going to be talking about algae biofuels, what they are, how they're produced, why they're being explored as next generation energy source. Also cover their environmental and economic impacts and give my recommendations based on the current research. So this is algae biofuels, the sustainable energy pathway of the future. So the first kind of topic is what are algae biofuels? So when we talk about algae biofuels, we're referring to the biological matter the algae produce as they grow. This will include oils, sugars, and other cell components that can be converted into different types of fuels. This is important as the algae can generate large amounts of biomass very quickly compared to land plants. So next is how is algae grown? So one of the advantages of algae is that it can be grown in places where traditional crops aren't, and it doesn't require soil. So the goal of cultivation is to maximize growth by giving the algae plenty of light, nutrients, and carbon dioxide so that they can produce as much usable biomass as possible. So there's two systems that are mainly used for this. It's going to be the open ponds versus the closed bioreactors. And bioreactors, photobioreactors are kind of just like little tubes. So next we have photosynthesis and biomass production. So algae rely on photosynthesis to build the biomass that we use for fuel. This energy is stored in the molecules they produce through this process and becomes the foundation for the biofuel later on. So this is why algae are considered an efficient biological system for renewable energy because they can convert sunlight directly into chemical energy. Next we have how algae becomes fuel. So the process is kind of pretty simple. You just grow the algae, we harvest it, we extract the oils, and it gets converted into biodiesel or jet fuel. If it contains more sugar than oil, it goes through fermentation and then produces ethanol. So different kinds of algae strains can be used to make different fuels. Some strains are better for oil-based fuels, while others are better for fermentation-based. The specific pathway depends on the type of biomass that the algae produce, but the overall goal is to extract the highest value of fuel possible. Next up is development status. So one unique benefit, or sorry, although algae biofuel technology has shown a lot of promise, cost is still pretty high compared to other more established biofuels. So many projects have demonstrated that algae can be used to make high quality fuels, but we're still working on a way to make it more affordable on a large scale. So next we have the carbon footprint. So one unique benefit of algae is that it can help capture carbon dioxide from the atmosphere or even from industrial facilities. So because the carbon in the fuel originally came from the air, it doesn't add new carbon when the fuel is burned, which kind of helps reduce overall emission rates. Next, we have the economic impact. So if the production process became cheaper, algae biofuels could support entire new industries and supply chains. This includes research, engineering, algae farming, and even like long-term fuel production for transportation types that can't be easily switched to using electricity. So public communication, I have two examples. So a lot of public awareness about algae fuels comes from demonstration projects like test flights or university research programs. These are like real world examples that help kind of show the potential that algae fuels have, um, that could kind of benefit us later on once they're more perfected. So based on what's currently known, the technology has strong long-term potential, but still needs heavy investment to overcome like various cost barriers. So improving efficiency at each step is going to help us make algae a more competitive energy source. And lastly, I have my plan of action. So with if we had unlimited funding, the most effective approach would to build a large scale facility and integrate them with renewable resource energies. This would allow the algae to be grown efficiently while also reducing the environmental impact of the production process. This will take a lot of work, kind of needs a lot more research and development, especially in the genetics area. But if we could accomplish this, it would be a very good vital source of energy. And then these are kind of my citations that I used to create this whole PowerPoint. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.